morning, everybody. Alita, how are you supposed to say something? Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Life Uncommon. My name is Andrea Rodriguez.
And I'm Alita Sharp, and we are so excited for this new month.
Yes.
Yes, we've got a lot of great things coming up. So,
yeah, I'm excited about it, and I feel like all of it kind of has a theme, you know, all of them kind of linked together. So we're excited about that, and we have a very special guest that we'll be introducing in a little while. But this morning I listened again to Steve Harvey's little speech that he had given impromptu about jump, right?
Yeah. Is your microphone? Can people hear you?
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry, people. I forgot to put my mic back on, and they did put it on me, but I was being troublesome. I was giving trouble to Denmark and took it off to put on some powder, you know, because the next person that wears this mic might get some glitter on them. All right, well, that's better. Yeah, so I was listening to it again. I listened to it twice. I think it's something that I could listen to all the time.
I know.
And he was talking about how all of us have a gift. When we were born, God gave us a gift. He didn't just kind of created us and left us without anything, and that we have to find out what that gift is and jump, do something with it. Because he said you could work and that's it. You'll never find out what God has for you. He said, yes, an education is good, but if you don't use your gifting, you'll never be like fulfilled then. And he was like talking about jump, just do it once, you know it. And he said you might get hurt and get scraped and all of that, but you know, the parachute will open, you know, things will happen.
And that's the scary part, though, waiting for the parachute to open once you make that jump. But we do all have gifts, we do all have talents, and it is up to us to make sure that we use them to the fullest. But it can be hard and it can be scary.
Yes. Yeah. That's why I've been standing on the edge of the cliff for a long time, looking down, you know, because it is scary. And but for me, what really stood out to me was what he said at the end. He said, before you leave this world, before you die, just jump. Yeah. And I was so motivated by that when I heard it the very first time. And it's been stuck at the back of my head, and I said, you know what, there's certain things that I need to do this year. I have to jump because and we've talked about it on the show when we came up with this name. That was one of the things that we had about the world needs your gift. And if you're not using your gift, some people are missing out on what you could be giving. You know, I told my brother, one of my younger brothers, that the other day, I said, because he was sick and stuff, and I told him, I said, he's on a new lifestyle and different things, changing his diet. And I was happy for him, and I said, I'm glad because the world needs your gift. And if we are not taking care of ourselves, so that is another part too. You know, we may know our gifting, but we have to cultivate it. We have to take care of it. We have to use it, because if not, then the world is lacking somewhere.
And I think it takes people a while to figure out exactly how to use their gift. You know, what it is they're supposed to do with it. I had the opportunity to go to the TEDx Belmont this weekend, and one of the talks, actually the very first one, was by Dr. Elma Kay, and she talked about how, you know, we need to stop asking children, what do you want to be when you grow up, and start asking them, what problem do you want to solve? And I like that because, you know, you can help solve different problems out of your gifts, out of whatever talents it is that God has given you, you know? And I love that question. What problem do you want to solve? What issue is it that's burning in your heart that you want to work on?
Preach it, girlfriend. I'm really passionate about this whole topic, and I'm excited about, you know, how it will play out as the month goes on. But we want to encourage people to find out what it is. And I've been asking myself, I like to do a lot of things. And I wrote down in my journal, what is my gift? And then my husband tapped me because he saw it. You know, I opened my book in church Sunday night. I was looking for a specific verse, and he saw that and he tapped it, then he looked at me. And I'm like, I don't know.
Oh my
He's like, but you wrote that so long ago and you still don't know. And I'm like, well, I didn't go back to the question. I just kind of wrote it to get it off my mind, and then I went on. But
So what do you mean, what is my gift? Because when I think about you and I think of all the different gifts that you have, my question would be, which one do you want to use now?
Well, yes. Yeah.
You have more than just one gift.
I'm going to use a talking one today. Yep, that one we will use today.
Okay.
Yes. Before we introduce, I guess, no, I was referring to a verse that I had read where it says, according to the grace given you, you know, that you have all these different gifts and you should use it. So if it's encouragement, if it's giving, if it's this, that. So I was asking, okay, which one of these, you know?
Okay.
So, yeah. Anyways.
Now I understand.
Moving on.
Yes.
I'm excited to have this wonderful lady with us. I've been trying to get her for a long time. So when I saw that she has jumped,
Yes, she has.
you know, I told Alida, I'm getting X to come on the show. So I'm going to allow Alida to introduce our very special guest for this morning, and then she could tell us about herself.
Yes, well, I am very excited that we have with us in the studio this morning Sherlet Neal Lopez, and she is the author of a new book, Belizean Storytime. And welcome.
Good morning and welcome, guys. It's a pleasure to be here. Whenever I watch the show and I always see you guys laughing so much, I'm like, what? Now I know, because I've been here on the edge just laughing. And I really, before I get into the publication, I really appreciate your introduction. And it's what so much people are longing to hear, that encouragement. Just jump, you know. There's no guarantee somebody will be there to catch you. Just jump, you know, you might get hurt. Just jump. Because I've been practicing that time now. I've jumped so many times, fell, stayed on the ground longer than I should really have, you know, having my pity party. But you know, that there's just something within you that just tells you you have to keep jumping, and you are never satisfied until you continue doing so. And it's more than some people care to admit. It's not just like that. It's spiritual. It's really something within you that will not allow you to just not jump. And so that nudging will always be there, you know. Come on, you can do it. You can do it until you do. And when you do, it's so encouraging. And there's so many people there just, you know, waiting to encourage you, applaud you, and say, hey, you know, because you jumped, I can now jump. Or I now think I can jump. And that's the gratifying part for me, you know.
I had to tell her that preaching that happened here is place this morning, people.
That's what happened when
not true. I'm excited about it because really though, Sherlet, like I told you, I was so proud of you when I saw this because you know what, I felt like what an encouragement it will be for other people too when they hear your story, when they, you know, find out that it's not like, I mean, your life is a piece of cake and you had everything set perfectly for you, and then you could say, okay, all right, let's do the story. You know, I'm sure that it's been a process for you and a scary one at times. So, you know, put yourself out there. But tell us a little bit about yourself before we get to the book for our viewers that may not be familiar with you.
Okay, my name is Sherlet Neal Lopez. I am currently residing in Belmopan, but I grew up in Camalote. I've lived there most of my life. I am a public officer. I'm a career public officer. Currently at the Department of Civil Aviation, where I do human resource management, particularly in the air traffic unit. I also work at the University of Belize as an adjunct lecturer in the Faculty of Management, something I get great pleasure out of doing. Personally, I am a mother. I am a mother of 7, now 6, sadly. But life, like Andrea said, has been a real struggle, but there's something about struggle, if you allow it, that will push you forward, that will propel you to, you know, to do more and to do better, and demand more of yourself. And that's what I've really been doing. And I've, a lot of people do not know my story, because when people see me, I don't want them to see the hardships. I want them to see an overcomer and somebody who's been able to say, not today, not today, we're going to do this, you know. And so I kind of use the platform that I get to encourage others to, you know, to let them know that you can do it. It might not always seem possible, but it is, it really is. And I continue to press on, and what I do is look for opportunities wherever they come. And sometimes I ask myself, I say, but why do you push so hard? Why do you work so hard? And then I realize that, you know, as a single mom in particular, and because I have passion for doing more, I will never be satisfied with just so. I have to push, and I have to work sometimes twice as much as somebody who, you know, does have the luxury of maybe a stable a partner or something to that effect. But I do not see it as a burden. Long ago, God and I agreed that my life will not be an easy one. And once I accepted that, I was able to just say, okay, Lord. And whenever I think that, you know, come on, why can't this be easy? I remind myself, not everybody's life was meant to be easy. Take your challenges, carry your burdens with grace, and you move along. And that's the message I really try to put out there to the people I come in contact with, and even to my kids when they decide they're going to complain. You know, it's like, come on now, you know. And I encourage people not to look at their present circumstances. You know, because for me, every day I get up, it's like, something big is going to happen. And trust me, some days nothing happens. I'm like, okay. I maybe crawl back into bed disappointed and a little frustrated. But next day, there's always hope within me. And it's something that I try to really and truly spread. Even when I'm feeling down, because I have friends and they would come and it's like, come on, it's going to get better. And the truth is, I can't guarantee them that it will.
That's
right. But I can tell you, where there's life, there's hope, and that's my belief. That's really my belief. And like Andrea said earlier, you don't sit on your talents. I believe to whom much is given, much is required, and I never forget that. There's a constant reminder in my head. And so if God has given you something, whatever it is, like you said, just use it. Just get out there, put it out there. Just use it to His glory and also to your provision. Because that's what it is all about, you know. So
awesome.
My story.
So
a part of
nuggets
it.
in there.
A part of it.
Yeah. No, I love the. You said carry your burdens with grace. You know, I love that.
That's a blog post for you right
That
there.
is a blog post for
It's
me.
necessary, because I'm not saying that we should not complain or we should not murmur. But I'm thinking that cannot be that people are avoiding you, because every time they see you, how are you doing? Well, you know, and you're just down and like, I'm going to start avoiding you. I know I will. I don't know who will do that. I will avoid you because I'm like, oh my gosh, she's going to complain. And I'm trying to So do not do that. Yes, you need to complain. You need to, you know, there are times when you need to seek out people to talk to. You know, you need to cry, go in your bed, do whatever. But don't let it be that that's your persona.
Yes.
Always.
It kind of turn you off.
Sometimes I'm walking out there and people would not know what I'm going through. They really would not know what I'm going through. And it's not because they're like, you know, oh, you have to share. It's not that. It's just that, you know what, I have to get through today. And I have to carry this burden, whatever it is. And I have to do what I have to do. I don't have the luxury of sulking, sitting down and doing nothing. That's not a luxury that's afforded to me. And once I understand that, me and myself good. We good. You know, like...
I remember asking a lady one time how she was doing, and her answer shocked me, because you know, I'm used to people saying I'm okay, or you know, I'm struggling a little bit, but you know, and she was like, not good at all, not
at all, not even 1%.
And I was taken aback by that. You know, I didn't know what to say to that. And I was like, well, I'm sorry to hear that. But it was just how she had resigned herself to that. That was her outlook on life. Life is not good. I'm struggling. I'm not doing good. And it's like you said, that may be true. You're struggling, but is that how you want to look?
It's all about that positive mental attitude, and it helps to attract that kind of people around you. Because the struggle is real. I'm not telling anybody the struggle is not real, but you have to just go with it, because it's not going to get better until you do. When you get better, that's when things get better for you. And that has been my mantra. I've really dedicated myself to studying and trying. People are like, oh, another degree. I say, it's not another degree, it's another few dollars to put on the table. That's what it really is. It's not, me trying to big up myself. It's not that at all. It's me realizing, hey, I need to do this because there are people depending on me. So really and truly, that has been my journey.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I've got lots of nuggets. Not today, and being an overcomer. And I earlier you said to keep jumping. I think a lot of times we think if we jump one time and it didn't work, then it's over for me. I can't do anything else.
Yeah.
But to know that we have to keep jumping, that makes a big difference.
Chances are it's not going to work. This book that we are talking about today, I started writing this book from 2012. I wrote one story for a story competition in Belize City during the September celebration. And I was really disappointed because I thought I had the winning story. And then I came in second to a story that was, revamped and reproduced, and I've heard like many times before. And I was disappointed. I was like, but my story. But I was not daunted. I had it, lingering around there, and then it occurred to me, why not write some other stories and then put it together in a book? But it took me at least 3 years to get the stories together, and then another 2 years to publish them, because you have them now and then there's all these blockades and loopholes and things that you really have to push yourself, you look behind, nobody's pushing you. I wish sometimes that people but then if they push you too hard, you might, why are you pushing me? So you might resist. So I'm like, nobody's pushing you. You have to be that force. You really have to be that force.
So what inspired you? What kept you going for 3 years of writing, and then 2 years trying to get it, published? And
it's phases of ups and downs, and that sometimes you get demotivated. Sometimes I am really feeling like not doing anything at all for a long period of time. But I always keep my goal in mind. I know that Andrea said she wrote down, some of the stuff she wanted to do. I remember being assigned to a mentor after I had done a program in women in politics in leadership, and I was assigned a mentor. And when I sat down to speak to my mentor, I said, this is what I would like to do. The list was so long. And she said, focus on one thing at a time. Pick one thing, and focus on that. He said, because I am noticing that you start a lot of things, but you don't finish much. And I was like, okay, that's telling. And so that stays with me. Whenever I try to get involved in too many things, I say, no, I've started this, I need to finish this. And so without her knowing, and I really want to thank her, Ms. Marian McNabb, that was how I started picturing things in small bites, like, yes, you're going to get to that, but you need to finish this. And so it was one of the things that that led to the completion of this publication.
Right. Got a phone call already. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. I was wondering if this was a repeat or this was a live show.
It is
It's a live show.
Wonderful. I could not help but to call and convey my best wishes to three wonderful ladies on the show, but that lady, Mrs. Neal Lopez, she's an example. She's an example of not only motherhood but womanhood. As a man, I can attest that she is one of our role models in this country. I will not discuss her many trials, but rather her triumphs. Because it is the trials that have made her triumph. And she does not settle for where she is. She's always aspiring for excellence.
Yep.
Mrs. Neal, I want that other book that you recently released. I have the one that that is called, I think, Belizean Storytime.
Okay, it's the same one.
I recall you autographed it for me, and I want that other one as well. I am going to purchase it. I'm going to look for you so that I can add it to my collection and enjoy the reading. Keep up the good work. I'm so proud of you, my dear. This is Ramon Witz, by the way. Okay? Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Witz, I am humbled. You've put me way up there, and now you make me have to, raise the bar even higher. But thank you. The book is a revised edition of the same publication because with the help of the Ministry of Education, I was able to print some copies in, I think it was 2015, thereabouts.
Okay.
And but I never launched it. I never put myself out there as one of Belize's author. And so while some copies might be in circulation, they were revised, edited, and some new graphics added to it, enhanced features. But I'll be happy to ensure that you get a copy.
Right. So everybody should want a copy of this.
Yes.
But let us take a break though, Sherlet, and then I'll come back and then we'll talk a little bit more on the book before we let you go back to your life.
Yes, and we actually have 3 copies to give away today.
All right, well, now hear that. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Tell your friends that we are live in the studios of Plus TV and on Facebook. So after this short break, we'll come back and talk more about the book with Sherlet.
From the company who brought you Buendia freeze-dried coffee, Gris 100% pure Colombian coffee is made in Colombia, considered among the finest coffee regions around the world. Naturally freeze-dried, Gris 100% pure Colombian coffee is exposed to less heat than other coffee brands to preserve the flavor and aroma to make the perfectly convenient cup of coffee you deserve. Have a buenos dias with Grace.
Recipes, go to gracerecipes.com. It's time for Grace. Grace, bringing good taste to life.
Hey, Alita.
Come on in.
Hey.
Hey.
It's been a while.
I know, my goodness.
So, I hear you're a big fan of a show called Life Uncommon.
Yes, I am. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
what is it about?
It's a daytime show, and it empowers women to embrace the extraordinary and go against the grain of the common.
I really like the sound of that.
Yeah, I knew you would like it because it's a really fun show.
It sounds that way.
It's a mixture of tears and laughter and challenges and human interest stories.
Well, you know what? I might just give it a shot.
Well, let's go.
All right, let's go. Hi, guys. Alita and I want to invite you to join us on Tuesdays at 10:30 for a new season of Life Uncommon on Plus TV. You do not want to miss what 2017 will bring. It's going to be awesome.
It sure will.
Top it off with Grace Tomato Ketchup. Top it off with Grace Tomato Ketchup. I like it on my hot burger and fries. Grace Tomato Ketchup, it's a taste I cannot deny. Grace Tomato Ketchup, I like it on my fish and chips, on fried chicken strips. So good you lick your lips. Grace Tomato Ketchup, I like it on my rice and beans, on my sandwiches, almost on everything. Grace Tomato Ketchup.
so anxious, cause I'm falling in love with your new product, Grace Lunch and Me. It's good for you and me grandpa and me granny, Grace Lunch and Me. Yes. Grace Lunch and Me. It good for everybody, Grace Lunch and Me. New product when it hit the country, Grace Lunch and Me. Ready for eat, come and join me, Grace Lunch and Me. Try it, you love it.
Welcome back to Life Uncommon. We are live here today in the studio at Plus TV, and we have been honored to have Sherlet Neal Lopez with us this morning, talking about her book, Belizean Storytime.
Yes.
So we didn't get it to show.
Yeah.
Yeah, Andrea's holding up a copy, so let's take a look at that. And you have a book launch coming up, right, tomorrow?
Yes, I do. Tomorrow is the official launch. It's at the UB Auditorium, and it starts at 10 o'clock. And
Okay.
if you're not doing anything, please, I encourage you to come out. It's open to the public, and we're trying to make it a fun event. I just got out the studio this morning where I actually recorded one of the stories that
great.
I want to do live. We have students from the Belizean Comprehensive High School who is actually reading one of the stories as well. So I want to make it an entertaining event
Yeah.
for especially students and parents, teachers as well, so that you start realizing the richness of
Yes.
Belizean stories. One of the things I keep saying is when our kids ask us to read a story to them, I realize when I look around, all I'm finding is Cinderella and Snow White. And, I really would love to, sit down and read these stories to your kids. And what birthed this storybook for me as well, and why I'm so passionate about it, is because I remember this as a part of my growing up reality, as part of my childhood. Just story time. Story time was the best time in our extended family, and you still remember some of the stories vaguely, of course. But wouldn't it be beautiful if it once again became a part of our everyday, life? You turn off the television for a few minutes and you just listen, and even let the children tell their own version of the stories. I think that's would
a
be
great
so
idea.
ideal. And that's it takes work. It takes time because we tend to be so busy, but I think that's really what I'm looking forward to in this publication. That it becomes something that is a household, just along with your Bible on the center table. There is the storybook, and you just read it, you just have fun with it, and have people act out the stories, just tell it how they want to. That's what I would love. That's what I would consider success. Not 1 million copies sold, but in a number of households where people are using it, not just reading but rereading it, and so that's my hope for this publication.
So what inspired the different stories that you wrote? Because they're original stories, right? With familiar characters.
They are original stories. What inspired them was, like I said, my own history growing up, because you would have people like Anansi in there, Tiger, always trying to use their might, and Anansi using his brain to get, people to listen to him. And I realized we didn't have much of these around at all, if any at all, in a publication that was Belizean. I remember them from the Nelson New West Indies Reader at school, and those were more Caribbean. But I really thought, we can do this. We can write our own local stories. And you'd be surprised, since I started to publicize this publication, people have been telling me their own stories, and you should have come to me, let me give you a story to put in the book. I was like, okay, I'm coming back. For it. So it's really that. And then favorite was how the mountain cow became the national animal of Belize.
Okay.
And I thought to myself, you know, we don't know, and nobody knows.
Yeah.
But what I know is that 10 years from now, if I have my way, this is a story that people will tell it.
I love
To it,
that.
you know? So it's just really playing with the Belizean reality
Yeah.
and looking around and saying, hey, okay,
Yeah.
how did that happen?
Yeah.
And then you say, oh, nobody told me. Well, I'm going to tell the story. People can put their own twist to it and say, no, that's not how it happened.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's really fine, you know.
Yeah.
But those were some of my objectives. And I tried to make the stories humorous.
Yeah.
I tried to add that element of moral, some morals behind each
Yeah.
story. Like, you know, there's a
Yeah.
lesson to be learned from each story. So I'm hoping that you will have as much fun with the stories
Look,
as I did.
I done the
As
read
I
and
did.
I did laugh already. Because I remember stories when I was little, when my dad used to tell us stories about Bra Anansi and Bra Tiger and Bra this one and Bra that one. And I love those stories, and I told my kids the one that I remembered from way back with Mr. Wheel and Fling You or whatever.
Yes, I vaguely remember that.
You know, and Bra Anansi was involved in that one too, and that was the one, if I remember correctly, how Bra Anansi got his little skinny sides.
Okay.
You know how,
Okay.
yeah, because you know how he fat that the bottom, then he have a least size go in, I say that story there. And so I told my kids, and they were like, tell me more, mommy, tell me more. Alright, well, that's the only one I kind of know. So say I have my problem solved right here, because my kids, I mean, I already love it. I'm reading it and laughing because I could just see it playing out in my mind already. So people
Sometimes
get this book.
I don't remember the stories, but sometimes I remember the lesson behind
Yes.
it. Like, can't bear Lego. And that was Anansi again over some bag of something. I was like, you know, and I was like, I cannot remember the stories, but I remember the themes
Yes,
behind them.
yes.
So I'm hoping at least the morals will stick. But
Yeah.
I really am looking forward to this publication. Like
Yep.
I said, it's being launched tomorrow. For this week only, the special launch price is only $15. It's a great buy. It's full gloss. It's colored. You know, you cannot go wrong. And then after that, it will be in stores for $20 Belize. So
Which is very
get some
good.
copies.
Very good price.
Your Belizean
Yes.
American friends, your Caribbean friends would love to
Yes.
have a copy. It's a great gift. You know, you can stock up from now before they're all gone.
Yeah.
For your Christmas gifts. Yes, Christmas
Yeah.
gifts.
Definitely.
So it's really a great idea to
Yep.
have one in your
I agree.
household,
I
in
totally
your-
agree.
In your household.
The only thing is, my picnic, I probably want to read the whole book in a one
In a
sitting.
one.
That's okay. Then you can read it again.
But it's true, because we have a lot of Belizeans living abroad watching the show, and I know they want to get their hands on one. So if you guys are in the States and you would like to get one, contact us and we'll get you in touch with Sherlet.
Most
and
definitely. And
you
we
could
can
get your
arrange-
copy.
yes.
Yep, we can
We'll have
arrange
it shipped
something.
to you, and it should not be.
Yeah,
a
because it's not
problem.
that heavy,
It-
you know. So I think shipping is easy,
Right.
and
Yeah.
you'll get it. So everybody should get a copy of this. I cannot wait to actually sit down and read
I
them.
know. That's.
And the good news is we have a couple to give away right now. And so, I don't know, what question should we
We need a
ask?
question. Do you have a good question?
Not
to
at
ask?
all. I feel generous. Just have the first person call in and say
Okay.
why they think they should have a copy of
Yeah, why would you
Storybook.
like a copy
Why would
of
you like a copy of
Belizean
it?
Storytime?
And let them pledge to use it.
Yes, you have to read it to your children. You know,
Okay,
and even
so call
to,
in and let us know.
I think this is a
But
good
it's-
tool to
yeah.
have.
When I did the first set that I had printed at the time my son was in Trinidad studying, and he got a few to take back with him for himself and his friends, and he was hungering me down, Mom, you need to send some more copies. The people at my school love the stories, and that's Caribbean, that's not even Belizean.
Yes.
So it's and then I tried to make the language easy to read. use my Creole words and phrases, but I try to make sure that the essence of the stories could be read by just about anybody from any culture that can read English. Then so as much as I wanted to Creolize them, I knew that it was going
I
to
can
be.
read it. Is that what you're saying? That means
You
I
can read it.
Yeah, but when I do
read it.
tell them on the audio, I try to keep that Creole flavor as much as possible, right? So if you want the English version, you gotta read it.
Yep.
If you want the Creole version, you can get the,
Read this for me,
CDs.
Alida. Read this first story. How would you say that one? Let me hear you go Creole.
Today for me, tomorrow for you.
Today for me, tomorrow for you, right? And it's
See, you can
interesting.
get
I plan to do a Facebook fan page for people to say, hey, what's your favorite story? What did you like? Where are you with the storybook? Where take a picture and show or your kids reading, to try and get the whole idea. And I really, really want to thank the National Institute of Culture and History. I would really die if I leave here without thanking them for assisting me with this publication. When I pitched the publication to them, Mr. Nigel Incalada, he was very supportive. He did not hesitate. He said, this is something that has to do with our cultural history, and we want to support it. And so they've been very supportive as partners to this publication, and I really want to thank them so much for that.
Great.
Right.
All right, and I want to give people on Facebook a chance to win as well. So if you are, I'm going to let this one go for somebody living abroad. If you are living abroad and you would like a copy, to win a copy, you just need to comment, the first person to comment and tell us what this book would do for you in your household. You could see, have this and tell your children who may not be familiar with when you were growing up here. Like I'm thinking of my aunt especially, who is living over there, and my cousins. They would love to have a book like this.
And they will, because I intend to, recently the Ministry of Education announced that they will be ensuring that Belizean literature, Belizean history is added to the curriculum, even at a very low, at the earlier grades. And so it is my hope to work with the Ministry of Education to get some of these stories into our schools as part of their curriculum as well. So there's no telling where it can go, and I'm excited, to jump again into that avenue, so that the stories don't just die, that they can live on, no?
And the book is good because a story good when it's that once upon a time when time was time. My gosh, it took me back down
and
memory
remember how it ends as well. If the pin never bends, the story will never end, and you step on a pin, and that does take us back, and it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling, and it makes you realize what you're so missing out on when you television and the other types of reading material that has so populated our homes. So I do want to encourage you, if you're free, make it to the launch event tomorrow at 10 UB. We will be having some giveaways, so it would benefit you to be there. Bring your child, bring your grandchild. Just come if you're not doing anything, and it's a pleasure to have you there.
And I plan to be there.
I'm looking forward to having you guys there, right? In wrapping up, my favorite, in case anybody wants to know, is the one where Anansi goes to church.
Yes, I haven't read it yet, but I love that one already.
Anansi does go to church, and in the process, he ended up tricking himself. And he went really because the church was giving away food, and he was hungry because Anansi is out. And going now he felt that if I go I'll get food, but the food wasn't being served until after the altar call. And so here was the pastor insisting that there's more people that need to come up, and there's at least one more, and the Spirit was telling the pastor that there's one more, and Nancy got the idea that, listen, I'll just be this one so that the church service can be over and I can go get my food. Even he said, I will faint, not from the Holy Spirit, but from hunger. And so Nancy Anansi decided he was going to go and just get saved so he can get this food. And when that was over now, he was about to rush out, and the pastor said, can we just talk to the new believers and, have a word with them, and Nancy was dying because everybody was already eating.
Yes.
And so he made up his mind he was going to make up for his misery. And when he got outside now, the lady around the food table, Sister Mabel, said, you just got saved, right? And he was like, yes, I just got saved. She said, you did not know. In this church, on the day you got saved, you have to fast and pray for that entire day to make sure that the Spirit really is speaking to you. Well, needless to say, the look, you realize that he was not getting it. And that was one of my favorite ones, and I really like to see that act out and played out.
I think so. That's the thing is, I think these would make excellent plays. Because I was flipping through it, and what grabbed my attention was that Anansi goes to church,
but for the wrong reason. I'm not saying some of us do as well, but we can use the story to deduce.
And he even sat at the last seat in the back.
Yes, to make sure.
Yes, because the man is there. Yes, he let close to the door.
Being served. So it's just Anansi having fun, and youth having fun along with him. But
all right. Well, we do have to go. We will take another break. And so before we go, though, we want to thank Miss Sherlet Neal for being with us today.
Yes.
And look out for her books. If you can't make it to the launch, she will be having her books out in stores pretty soon, right?
Pretty soon. They'll be available from me as well.
Okay.
On Facebook. You can get them at Baker's, Brody's, most of the major stores, and from Niche as well.
All right.
So they should be available
Excellent.
to you, like I said, for a cost this week of only $15, and then on thereafter in stores for $20 Belize.
Okay.
Will be available. Thank you guys so
Thank
much for
you.
having me.
Thank
It was
you.
my pleasure, and I'm looking forward to joining you again soon.
I was just about to say, yes. we
when
would
I
love to
jump
have-
again.
We just had a message from Jomi. Should I read it now? Okay. It's always encouraging to read the works of fellow Belizean brothers and sisters. So that was an
Thank
answer to the
you.
question. Tell us why you want to read Belizean Storytime.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Domi.
And
We'll
thank you,
take a
guys.
break, and then we will come right back and wrap up this show for today. So don't go anywhere.
To live a life uncommon, life uncommon.
Looking for quick and easy baking? Try Grace Baking Powder. It comes in a convenient 10-gram packet. Grace Baking Powder. Great for my pancakes, waffles, fry jack, flour tortillas, muffins, waffles. Wow! How quick and easy. Grace Baking Powder. So convenient, easy to store. You love it. It's good enough and fresh whenever you need it. Another fine product brought to you by Grace. For recipes, go to gracerecipes.com. It's time for Grace. Grace, bringing good taste to life.
Hey, Alita.
Come on in.
Hey.
Hey.
It's been a while.
I know, my goodness.
So, I hear you're a big fan of a show called Life Uncommon.
Yes, I am. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
What is it about?
It's a daytime show, and it empowers women to embrace the extraordinary and go against the grain of the common.
I really like the sound of that.
Yeah, I knew you would like it because it's a really fun show.
It sounds that way.
It's a mixture of tears and laughter and challenges and human interest stories.
Well, you know what? I might just give it a shot.
Well, let's go.
All right, let's go. Hi, guys. Alita and I want to invite you to join us on Tuesdays at 10:30 for a new season of Life Uncommon. on Plus TV. You do not want to miss what 2017 will bring. It's going to be awesome.
It sure will. Welcome back to Life Uncommon. We are live here in the studio at Plus TV, wrapping up what's been a really fun and incredible time with Miss Sherlet. And I am so excited because she just autographed a copy for me. I already had to make my purchase early because I just had to have a copy. You know, Andre, I was reading this article, and it said that the average person only reads about 19 minutes a day.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's really good that these are short stories, you know, that somebody could sit down and take the time to read for themselves or read to their children or whatever. But you know, we are losing that desire to sit down and read and to experience in a different way, because it's not the same to watch something on television or to look at it on social media, on Facebook or YouTube or whatever, but to actually sit and read a book. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm above average.
You are!
Because I don't read for 19 minutes. That's too little. I mean, you can't even read a chapter in 19 minutes. I can read several chapters in 19 minutes. But I do agree. I think this is such a wonderful initiative, and I'm really glad that Sherlet decided to, you know, push forward and to get it done, because I can see this book as something that will be in households for years to come.
Definitely, a national treasure.
Yeah.
You know?
As I mean, I opened the book and I saw Once Upon a Time and Time was Time, and my mind was just flooded with all these memories, you know, of a little girl listening to storytellers come and tell stories. Yes. And, you know, it was always involved Bra Nancy, Bra Tiger, you know, and they always had a moral to the stories. And I remember, I might not, like what Sherlet said, you might not remember the details of it, but you remember the moral. You remember why they told that story.
And the excitement of listening to it too. So I wanted to mention too that there were, you know, you can't do a publication by yourself like this. And Melvin Diego from Life Graphics, he did the cover, and then there's a illustration on the inside that he did. And then Rashid Palacio did all of the graphics that start each one of the stories. So you've got Belizeans involved with their very creative talents. Both of those guys are great. Melvin Diego worked on my music video, I was saying earlier. So this book is filled with Belizean talent.
So I'm excited to sit down and read these stories and read them to my kids. I think it's going to be just really a great launch tomorrow, and I really want to encourage people to come out and show your support to her, and to purchase one or two. Encourage people to do that, because I mean, she's poured a lot into it, and I think sometimes us as Belizeans, we tend to not support Belizean stuff as much as we should, and artists, authors, you know, I think they need the support from the Belizean public. So I'm encouraging people here and abroad to get behind Sherlet and to purchase Belizean Storytime. And really, it is going to be a story time when you start reading these.
Well, she really inspired me, you know, to think about the different things I want to do, and to not give up. But also, I have that bad habit, you know. She talked about how she had written out this list of all the different things that she wanted to do, and I think I'm trying to read like 4 different books right now, and I'm working on maybe 4 or 5 different projects, and really taking one thing and doing it well and focusing on that. I know that probably needs to be my mission coming up. Good morning.
Good morning, Mom. Where can I get those books, Mom?
You could contact Sherlet herself to get a book from her. She said they will be in the bookstores pretty soon at Dakers and Brody's in a short time.
I'm part of the book, you know. I mean, that's a very good initiative out of PG.
All right.
I listen to you, and you see, those are for the kids.
Yes.
But which part people from deep down so like you from the woods, like Panejo, there are a lot of little guys who doesn't want to go to school and they can't read. I think that's very good for them.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
You know, I
great.
really appreciate you did it.
Yes.
That's very good. Thanks very much.
Well, I would like to give you a copy of this book. So, would you be able to call us after the show so we could talk about how we could get you a copy?
Sure, I will call it.
All right then.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you. That's a good point
That
too.
is a good point.
You know, and I think
Yeah.
it could also encourage kids that aren't into reading to want to read it for themselves, you know, by reading it to them at first. I think it will capture your interest, because that's what I found with these stories, with Bra Nancy and Bra Tiger. The way the story is told, it makes me interested in, okay, what else is he going to do now? You know, what new thing is he up to?
Yeah. And that's a great encouragement for young readers or new readers. She said that she tried to keep the language simple so that anybody could read it. Yeah.
So I really, guys, we're not saying it just because Sherlet was on, but it really is a great book, and I think you will be happy to have one. So I'm looking at it, I was like, oh my goodness, there's a spider web. I was trying to figure out what that was. Interesting.
All the characters are all on the front cover.
Yeah, but Bra and Nancy tricky, bad. He always, the outfit try trick somebody. And so that's why the animals, they mistrust him, because he's always playing tricks on people. So.
Okay, so we just had Marva ask how to contact Sherlet. Is there a phone number? We'll make sure that we get all that information to you. We'll put it on our Facebook page, okay? And make sure that you have a way to get a hold of Miss Sherlet.
Yes, and she is on Facebook too, and she talked about doing a page for this one.
Yeah.
But you could contact her on Facebook. Diamond Roses is the name to use to contact her on Facebook. And we, like Alida said, we will be posting all the information on how to contact her on our Facebook page after the show, so you can check on there to get the information. Yeah. And if you can, like we said, if you can, to make it to the launch tomorrow, like she said, at the UB gym at 10 o'clock. So, yeah. All right. Well, I know we have a few minutes left, and I just wanted us to kind of recap for those people that, you know, might have tuned in a bit late about how we started the show. And this month, you know, we felt like we wanted to focus on people that are jumping, people who are stepping out. So if you are watching and you are stepping out, you're launching a new business, a new idea, you're doing something that you've never done before that you want to share, let us know, and we would, you know, love to talk to you about that, because I think it's important to celebrate and to encourage people who are jumping, who are attempting something new. You know, so Alida, I know you have some stuff coming up too.
I do.
Maybe you could hint at.
Well, I've got some new music coming up, and a new music video as well.
So you keep jumping.
I do, but you know, I like, she talked about how you have to keep jumping. I don't think it gets any easier, but it's always worth it. You know, each time I jump into a new thing, it scares the daylights out of me. But I've got a new song called Exalt His Name. It's a reggae worship song that's coming out, and I've tested it out in a few locations, and
it's a hit.
I think so. I think it's going well. And so the music video is coming along nicely too. I just saw a draft of it the other night, and it's being done by In Off Films by David Smith. So I'm real excited about that. And I've written a devotional, and that is so hard to say. It is so hard to say that, So that's what I was doing. You know, you said that you were talking to Sherlet, you talking to Sherlet. That's what I was talking to her about, just really picking her brain because, you know, she's gone before me with her publication. So I was asking some questions about, you know, well, how do you do this and how do you do this and when did you do that? And I just love the fact that we've got people like this that can encourage, inspire, and help us along the way. So
So
and you've got some new things coming as well.
Something new. So we are in a season of jumping.
Yes.
And I'm excited, you know, that I have had the courage, I think, to kind of take a little leap off the cliff. You know, and to trust God. And so I'm also doing a mini devotional. That it was interesting because both Alida and I were working on one without us knowing.
We hadn't talked about it.
Yeah, and so we're excited. Both of them are so different, but so good. Well,
Really, I mean, I read hers, and there were several things that really touched my heart and stood out to me. Yeah, so I'm excited.
we kind of read each other's, and I'm telling you, you do want to make sure you get your hand on it, on Alida's, because it's really, really good. And one of the things that stood out to me that I didn't mention in my review back to you was it came out so strongly in your devotional, that relationship that you've managed to cultivate with God. Like I felt that when I was reading it, like this is not you're not just writing something about somebody that you vaguely know, but I could sense and feel that there's a connection, that there's a relationship that you have with maturity. I feel like that was what came to me, and so that's why I want people to get it, because that type of devotional doesn't come from it's not milk then. It comes from when you've been in the Word, when you've been spending time with God, and you know how you've gotten to know Him, your struggles and different things like that. And I don't want to give away too much of it, but it is really good. And so we're both jumping, and so I'm excited about, you know, the new things that are coming down the pipe for both of us, and we wanted to use those as examples, and I think Sherlet was a great way to start off the month.
A great way, oh, definitely.
You know, using hers as an example of what it looks like when you jump, kind of thing. So,
and to keep jumping, I can't say enough the importance of putting yourself out there. It is scary, and then, like you said, you're going to take a lead jump, a lead one. But even those little ones, I mean, it feels like you know, even if you're jumping off of 2 or 3 steps, that time when your feet leave the ground, you know, it can be really difficult, but it's so worth it, because even if you fall, the lessons that you learn, and if you're willing to get back up and jump again, you know, God has great lessons for you along the way. And I like what Sherlet said, that she and God had worked things out a long time ago. And that's what it takes, you know.
And she had mentioned too, right at the very beginning, about, you know, making most of every opportunity, or making most of it. Like, she's a hard worker. She doesn't kind of sit and say, well, you know, I'm a mother of 6 kids and all of that. Like, you finding excuses. She kind of pushes forward, and that's what I admire about her. But okay, in closing, quickly, I wanted to read this verse that I was reading this morning that kind of talked about that what she was saying. And it says, I'm going to read the NIV version.
Okay.
It says, be very careful then how you live, not as unwise, but as wise, making the most of every opportunity, because the days are evil. And I really love that verse, and I was studying it. And the Greek word, or I think it's a Greek word, for making the most of the most of every opportunity is actually like saying buying out, or buying in the marketplace, like taking advantage of that time and that season and buying out. And I was like, that's an interesting concept right there. So take advantage of the opportunities when they come. Every day is an opportunity to kind of step forward and to do something. You start using your gift, and you could start today. So
that's great. What is it, time to?
Yeah, time, right? Over time.
Oh gosh, time goes by way too fast. So we want to thank Grace Kennedy Belize for sponsoring our show today. Thank you to Ms. Sherlet Neal Lopez. Please make sure you get a copy of Belizean Storytime, and if you're able, show up at the book launch tomorrow at 10 a.m. at UB, right?
At UB Auditorium.
Okay, and thank you all for watching. Thank you to Brian and to Denmark for helping out this morning, and thank you all for watching. Thank you those of you who called in, because we couldn't do the show without you.
All right, see you guys next week.